English writing skills. Punctuation marks. Lesson 7. In this lesson, I'll explain how we can use parentheses for remarks and secondary information. We'll also look at the use of dashes for comments and in informal messages. Finally, we'll take a look at hyphens and their use at line breaks and in compound words.
Look at this statement. Try to read it out loud. You may find it a little difficult. That's because it's still missing some punctuation. Punctuation marks are very important. They organize our ideas and help clarify our message for our readers. Let's make this sentence more clear by adding in some punctuation. In the last lesson, comma, we have an introductory phrase. We also have a phrase at the end. We'll also use a comma there, and our voice will have a slight pause now when we read those parts of the sentence. In the last lesson, we talked about George Malley, Phenomenon, 1996. We're really focusing on George Malley, the character, but the title of the movie and the year the movie was released is an explanation. It's useful information, but it's secondary. It's what we might call a parenthetical remark. Parenthetical, let's use parentheses. One parenthesis, two parentheses. Now we have a parenthetical remark. I have a title of a movie. What do we need to do? Capitalize it. I'm writing by hand, so I'll underline it because I can't really use italics when I'm writing by hand. This is secondary information, but it helps explain who George Malley is. My voice will recognize that remark with a slight drop. In the last lesson, we talked about George Malley, Phenomenon, 1996, and his powers. I could end the statement there, but then I go on to add, or gifts, if you're optimistic. I could end here, but I added on another remark. It's also secondary, but it's a little bit different. I'm not explaining, I'm commenting. It's my personal commentary. My tone is rather conversational when I say this and when I write it. I'm going to use a dash, a long line. A dash can help set off a comment, an aside. These words either can break up the flow of a statement or just add on to a statement, but they're not really part of the main statement. Now let's read it from beginning to end with all the proper punctuation. In the last lesson, we talked about George Malley, Phenomenon, 1996, and his powers, or gifts if you're optimistic. Writers use parentheses in both formal and informal writing. In contrast, a dash is more typical of informal writing because a dash helps create that conversational tone by allowing us to insert comments and remarks. Don't confuse a dash with a hyphen. A dash is a long line. A hyphen is a short one. Let me show you some examples where a hyphen is needed. John Travolta is a well-known actor. Are there any mistakes in this sentence? No, everything is correct. Well-known is a modifier. It modifies or describes actor. Well-known is a compound modifier. It's made up of two parts. We join the parts together with a hyphen. But if I move this to a different position after the noun, it will lose its hyphen. Watch. John Travolta is a well-known actor. John Travolta is, actually let's take actor out and just say he is well known. Okay. It's similar to ages. He is, do you know how old he is? About He is about 60 years old. If I take this and form a modifier before a noun, I'll need the help of hyphens. Who is John Travolta? He is a 60-year-old actor. So we need hyphens to form compound words. Now look at this next statement. George Malley, one of Travolta's characters, has super intelligence. He is loved by his girlfriend and by the family doctor. There are no mistakes. I want to call your attention to 3 words. Superintelligence, girlfriend, family doctor. I told you that hyphens help us form compound words, and we saw examples of compound modifiers. Not all compound words are modifiers. We have examples here of compound nouns. Not all compound words need hyphens. Superintelligence uses a hyphen. Girlfriend does not, although it's made up of 2 words, girlfriend. In here, family is a noun modifying doctor. We have a space. We do not need a hyphen. If you're writing and you're unsure how a word is written, 2 separate words, hyphenated, no hyphen, what do we do? Look in a dictionary. And don't be surprised when you see that one dictionary does not agree with another dictionary. Just choose a pattern and stick to it. This next model could be a possible message someone wrote to me. This could be a comment posted. This could be an email message. In any case, I have to work a little hard here to understand the ideas properly because we're missing punctuation and there are no capital letters. So, for example, hi is the greeting, but is hi it and then my name is part of the question, or is my name part of the greeting? It's probably part of the greeting. So we'll use punctuation to show that. Hi, Jennifer. You can use a period. You can use an exclamation point. You'll see both patterns in comments on the internet. We have a new sentence, a question. Let's begin with a capital letter. Will you please explain parentheses? At least on my board, this long word is being cut off. If you have a long word and it doesn't fit on a line, you need to break it up according to the syllables. Parentheses has 4 syllables. I'm going to break it up in the middle with a hyphen and then continue on the next line. Parentheses. Thanks with a period. Could be an exclamation point, but you don't want to overuse exclamation points. And the person's name, Lita. You do not need periods after a signature, okay? In a comment online, you'll see a dash sometimes to sign off, Lita. If it's an email message, the last or the name of the person could simply be written as the last line on a new line. Thanks, Lita. Now, this is an example of pretty informal writing, but these patterns are pretty standard for the internet, for texting. Let me remind you, there are more formal ways to start and end a letter. Let's look at those examples. Okay, so more formal greetings for a message or a letter. Not hi, not hello, but dear. For example, Dear Jennifer, comma. If it's a business letter, If we need a high level of formality, use a title. In our next lesson, we'll talk more about colons, but for now, just know that a colon can be used as part of a formal greeting. How do you end? A very common closing to a formal letter or message. Sincerely, regards, yours truly, and then the signature. Whoops, wouldn't be to myself. Let's put that name again, and we'll give the person a last name. Okay.
This is the end of part 1. Please go on to the next part of this lesson. Please visit my website today at www.englishwithjennifer.com. You'll find study tips, interactive exercises, vocabulary videos, and more.